Clear? So we dive straight into the syllabus now. This is our syllabus. How is it is? What we see, what scientists see. A quick questionnaire on how to be millionaire, and we get to the questions. So what are the questions we may get, right? The big question is, does God really exist? And the best way to look at that is we just go around or just raise your hand if you really believe God does exist. Now, take it down. Raise your hand if you're kind of in the middle. Maybe. Okay, awesome. Now, raise your hand if you're super confident that God does not exist. Okay, thank you. So I'll start with a very small story. There is a nice village outside in Haryana where there is a nice river and there is a ashram. A sadhu is uh, doing his meditation over there. And the villagers are saying, this Baba is doing lots of tapasya, but he never gives us any katha class. So we should hear from him. So they keep sending invitations after the invitations in that Babaji, please come, Gusto Bolo. And the person is, that sadhu is not interested. After lots of invitations, the sadhu comes and sits in the class and says, okay, please raise your hand if you believe in God. And they all raise their hand. The sadhu says, if you all believe in God, what I am going to tell you, and he leaves. So people are like, we wanted to enjoy a nice katha for 2 hours, and sadhu just left. So they do a meeting, they agree on a decision, they start inviting the sadhu again. We'll definitely make him give the class. Second time, after lots of invitation, the sadhu comes. He again asks the same question. Raise your hand if you believe in God. Everybody puts their hand down. It's like, no, we don't believe in God. Please talk to us for 2 hours. And the sadhu says, if none of you believe in God, why am I wasting time with you? He leaves. And these villagers, now they really come back together. They again do another meeting saying that we have to get this sadhu to give a class. So third time, after lots of invitations, the sadhu comes. And now these villagers have also game plan, right? So the sadhu again says, do you believe in God? And half of the villagers, like all the ladies raise their hands saying that, yeah, I believe in God. And all the men say, we don't believe in God. The sadhu says, that's very good. Those who believe in God talk to people who don't believe in God. What I am doing over here. And he leaves. You're wondering, what is the relevance of this joke in this class? Yes. And the relevance is, in today's society, we may say we believe in God or we may not believe in God, but we're not really confident. Like somebody puts a gun on my head and says that, do you really believe in God? Maybe, right? I hope. That will be the answer. And that goes back to a real life story. That's one of my friends who is a monk in Mumbai, ISKCON. When they were doing their medical thesis and all that, PhD thesis, they friends used to discuss, right? We all friends discuss life. That's the amazing part. So these friends were discussing what kind of these riots and killing happening in the name of religion and all that. Let's all come together and say, we have nothing to do with God. We will play agnostic. Agnostic means I don't care. Maybe there, maybe not. I will not do anything to do with God. And they all make a bonding, right? Like the bond, say that, okay, we'll follow like this. And through college life, they are okay like that. And then they do their medical degree. One goes out to the Delhi, sets up a hospital and invites all the friends. Come, my hospital's inauguration is there. And these all people go over there only to see that there is a Panditji doing puja. We all pull this pranams, right? We agreed we will not do anything to do with God. How did we change this? Yeah, please understand. I put 10 crore rupees into making this hospital. In case he's there, let him be happy, no? So, like that, our faith is like when you see the mandir, you'll say, pom, tong, tong, ting, ting, be happy, don't trouble me. So, our actual faith, whether God exists or not, is little shaky most of the time. And the next question, the bigger question is, who is God? Even more confusion. That is why the syllabus is there to give us a perspective that may give us thinking tools to come to our own assessment on how to look at this topic. The one of the most interesting topics for humanity. Why? Because most of the civil wars and so many fights and so many infights and so many cross fights, social unrest has depended on topics of God actually. So isn't it interesting and important for us? Thank you. So let's look at the logical side of it, right? Who creates and maintains this beautiful universe? We look at various logical aspects of doing things like art, lots of art we see around, right? That's one type of way to look at it. Organization we see creation, we see design, and we'll go through this. So maybe I went too fast. Who is the painter for the first maybe? Wow, that was so much. My son is also in UW. He's in Rome right now, UW Rome. And from there, he's sending me his picture with this uh, picture and Mona Lisa, right? So lots of original paintings out there. So what happens when you see the painting? The first thing you remember is who painted it, right? And many times there will be a little signature on the painting that says that I did it. So there are other famous paintings and their painters, and they, from the style of painting, people can recognize who is the painter. Technology has come to the point where the algorithms can mimic that now. Who is the artist behind this type of expression? Who designed the face of this lady? Who designed the beauty of nature? Who designed the experience we get when we get into a waterfall or near the waterfall? And who designed the flowers, the texture, the fragrance? Who designed? So every time we see something, we know somebody did it. This building did not come into existence by chance. It was architected, funded, executed, and the results came out. Yes, same thing. Who is the artist? If you take a rose, like artificial rose, you will see, there is paper, there is color, right? There is some texture. But if you look at the real rose, there is much more. There is life in it, there is fragrance. And the biggest question is, where does it get fragrance from? Because what we feed the plants? Dirt. We feed plants the dirt, and what comes out is nice fragrance, right? What do we feed the human body? And what comes out? So look, the rose, the plant is taking all the things that we don't want, and it's giving us exactly what we would want it. Think about it. So the artist is somebody that is not me. And millions of, it's not small or one or two, millions and millions and millions of flowers bloom every day. And it's like abundance in nature in terms of the fragrance. And it is all coming from the dirt. It's nice engineering, right? Who created though? So artistry means there is an artist behind. Ah, we need to go back to the volume. Was marked with a red dot, so we can see her better. The worker bees are all females, but they almost never lay eggs. Worker bees do almost all the chores in the hive. So we can see her better. They gather pollen or nectar. Worker bees are all females. God, they don't just never lay eggs. Worker bees do all clean the hive chores in the hive. Build the column, they gather pollen or nectar. Worker bees are pick honey. Very cool. And the queen and keep the larvae they call. Hello. Awesome. one more example. So that way we see our own designs also. We're designing our human design output, we're seeing it all the time. Beautiful sculptures. We see beautiful sculptures, not sculptures, right? Designing our human all the time. Beautiful sculptures. We see beautiful sculptures, not sculptures. Oh, I know that is designing our human okay. Beautiful sculptures. Nice sculptures. We see beautiful sculptures. The U stream, I left it alone, usually I clear, and that's what is playing back to us. Awesome. A little better that I could find the point. So shouldn't this universe have a super intelligent creator too? Because if there is amazing universe that exists, if small things we see that we didn't design are beyond we can explain. Simple thing is how these beautiful flowers get their beauty and fragrance, or how does the so the food that we eat, how does it become energy? Scientists may give some molecule names and chemical names and all that, but whether scientists understand or not, it always gets executed very nicely. Right? We eat, we get the energy. We don't eat, we feel thirsty and hungry. Okay, we have our lunch ready. Another example of a beautiful sequoia tree. How small the seed is in millimeters, but when the tree grows, how big it is. Giant sequoia tree. How big? Vehicles can pass through that. Have you visited? Anybody visited sequoia trees in California? No. Awesome. Now the relative height of a sequoia tree. It's bigger than even the Statue of Liberty. It's bigger than the space shuttles. Bigger than the whale. And where does it fit? It fits into a seed that is like few millimeters. So small seed, such a big output. Isn't it amazing engineering? Like you can take like uh, this bottle full of seeds and create a jungle that can occupy maybe huge hundreds of acres. And what is the beauty of these trees? They stand tall, they live long, in spite of bad weather conditions or heavy winds, they're able to hold. And how they hold is their roots are not very deep, but they are interconnected. They stand like a community and help each other. designed by Intel, or now it is what? NVIDIA. But the human brain is also extremely powerful to the point in normal life we don't use all the power our brain offers it. And scientists are saying it can store all the information in all the languages of the world, obviously. And some people show some symptoms of uh, extra powers in their brains. They can do complex mathematical functions in very little time. They can remember things. There is a in Vedic India, there was this concept of Shatavadhani. Shatavadhani is there would be, and until few years back, there used to be these competitions where a person comes in, there are 100 people in the room, and each person in the room will keep asking questions, and this person will answer the questions asked by each person while there is a bell ringing. So, first, all people ask questions, then this person goes and starts answering the questions in the order it was asked. All questions are answered, and while the bell is ringing continuously, at the end of it, it will say how many times did the bell ring. This is like wow, Shat Avadhani, this 100 attention spans at the same time. So in normal life we don't use it, but it is possible to have even Vedic techniques to use our brain better. Question is who designed the brain? Because for a long time it used to be thought it was thought as a a cooling device or something. People didn't know that brain has a function. Right? It was and misunderstood it something else. So we saw the big side of it. We saw at our level. Now let's go like at the micro level. If you look at the DNA, the molecules and molecular structures, the difference between a carbon and diamond is not very high in terms of the chemical texture that they have, but the value of a coal and value of a diamond is going to be drastically different. Satellites. When we see the human-made satellites, what do we have? We have a whole team designing it, launching it, organizing it. Well, probably 4 or 5 countries in the world have ability to go take out somebody's satellite. Good news, nobody's using it. It will be disaster. But for a satellite to be monitored, you have to have certain parameters that you're monitoring, and you have to control whatever happens to it. If it is going out of orbit, you have to bring it back into the orbit. There is so much engineering, and there is a whole kind of control center in Houston, NASA, other places where they're controlling the satellite. Isn't it true? What about these satellites? Earth is also a satellite in the Earth that is roaming around in its own orbit. And it is huge, 6 into 10 raised to 21 metric tons. It is so huge. Where is that center which is controlling this orbit? Have you seen the beautiful thing that none of these planets really come and collide with each other? They are going around each other for hundreds of years that we know, but thousands of years that the human history is, and it's millions of years as per scientists. They're there. An unlimited number of those, but they are not bumping into each other, at least not recently. So there is some science. And in the scriptures, the description is given who is managing and how Ananta Shesha is managing all the planets in their orbits. That information is given. I'm giving things little ahead of syllabus. Now, this if you look at this exploration of science and the size, the scale, everything is unfathomable from our point of view. Scientists give us some numbers and we say yes, yes, yes. But it is beyond what we can understand. So who is in control? We are not controlling it. Then anybody from Pune here? Pune is known for its jokes. Like people on the spot will say something which will be to the point and it will be funny also. So one lady is riding a scooter in Pune and the Havaldar stops in there. Hey, you just jumped a light. You get to pay the fine. So like, where is the light? The light is so high. It's like above, say, like 1.5 times the normal height. So the lady says, if you were to raise it little more, the aeroplanes could have stopped also, looking at the light. So like that, aeroplanes look at the light, the satellite, the real satellites, which are the earthly planets. There is no system that we see that is controlling them, but they are very well behaved. It is very predictable. How? The Vedic softwares of astronomy, astrology, they can calculate the planetary motions back in time and in future also. That means they are following some formulas. Without them following the formulas, how will the software tell you what the position was or will be? So there is some method to the madness in the mother nature. What do we call them? We call them laws of nature. Now, this is my most favorite video.
On 1200 AD, a man named Leonard Pisano, better known as Fibonacci, discovered a sequence of numbers that created a very interesting pattern. The sequence begins with the numbers 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and continues indefinitely. Each number is obtained by adding the last two digits together. A rectangle with a length and width of any two of the numbers of this sequence forms what is known as the golden rectangle, a perfect rectangle. A golden rectangle can be broken down into squares the size of the next Fibonacci numbers down and below. If we were to take a perfect or golden rectangle, break it down into smaller squares based on Fibonacci's sequence, and divide each with an arc, the patterns begin to take shape. We begin to see Fibonacci's spiral. The spiral in and of itself is insignificant. Its importance is revealed in where we find it. Take, for example, the sunflower. The display of its florets are in perfect spirals of 55, 34, and 21, the sequence of Fibonacci. The fruitlets of the pineapple create the same spiral based on the sequence. The pine cone does the same. As currents move through the ocean and the tide rolls onto the shore, the waves that bring in the tide curve into a spiral that can be mathematically diagrammed onto a plot at the points 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and 55. Buds on trees, sand dollars, starfish, petals on flowers, and especially the nautilus shell are formed with this exact same blueprint. With each segment of growth, the nautilus adds to itself one more value on Fibonacci's scale. This blueprint can be seen around us on a small scale every day, but the greatest example of all is directly above our heads. At an average of 100,000 light years across, even the spiral of the galaxies above us are formed with the exact design that the tiny shell is formed. This sequence or blueprint appears to be the trademark of a designer, a proof of a creator, something left behind, indicating the one who was there, a fingerprint. As we scan our universe from the tiny flower to the awe-inspiring galaxy, we see the fingerprint of God.
Isn't it amazing that the same design pattern, anybody in software, an architect and design for him? So, yeah. So we know the value of a design pattern, right? We can see the design pattern of the Lord from smallest thing to the biggest things. That cannot be an accident. Right? how much energy the sun is giving. And if you collect it for a few seconds also outside the Earth's orbit or space, it can be good forever for us to use. Wait, is the funny part. So the energy that sun is emitting every second is more than wood can consume forever. And what do we say? Hey, please switch off the lights. Why are we wasting energy? But sun has so much we cannot even consume. In 1 second, our sun produces enough energy to meet the current needs of the entire Earth for 500,000 years. Wow. So somebody throw a stone, we are going to see what happened, right? But where, so say for example, somebody, this glass breaks, somebody throw a stone. We have to assume one thing. There is somebody outside. Yes? The stone will not pick up itself and say, let me go like a projectile into the window. So what will the next logical thing? What are we looking for? Say it loudly. We're looking for the person who put that, right? That stone into the window. So there is always a person behind the energy. Stone reflected the kinetic energy, potential energy, impact, but we are looking for the person behind. Like that, if sun has so much of energy, shouldn't we look at the person behind the energy? That's called as the energetic person. So now if you see world around you, the door that opens to this building, we book this room. So half an hour before the time, the door gets unlocked automatically. It's not automatically. Somebody is doing. Somebody has planned for it. That if you book a room, this door opens for you just in time. If not, you have to come to the other door for your normal operations. Who set the rule? Somebody did a meeting and said that this is the architecture, this door should operate like this, that should operate like that, all of that. Now, if this is UW and college, the what is the natural thing that should happen? Classes, schedules, rules for entry, rules for exit, rule for passing, rule for failing, rule for good behavior, rule for bad behavior. All of that matters, isn't it true? So some people come together, create a meeting, distribute the notes, pass out the resolutions, and what do they have? They say, this is our bylaws, or this is how we operate. Yes, true. So that means when you see some organization, we are looking at organizers. We have seen many jokes about drive left or drive right. At least initially, when I came to USA, I was confused with how do I drive because I drove a lot before I came here. Many of us just buy your first car in America. But I grew up with the cars and I was a good driver. As a result, I was very confused on this drive right and drive left. Even worse was when I go back to India. It's like I took 2 days. I used to sit next to somebody else driving to align myself with which side of the road I drive. So somebody made that rule, right? In a game, the rules of the game are discussed. Can you imagine that you want to go and play table tennis, but the other guy thinks that he's playing boxing? So you go with the table tennis racket and all that, and somebody starts punching you right there. It's like, dude, what are the rules of the game? I'm playing table tennis and you are with the gloves, like play like this. So let's first agree what are we playing? Yes. So these rules of the game are also decided by people. So how about this periodic table of elements? They go by the rules. Iron or ferrous will work like that. The gold will act like gold, the molecular definition. Uranium will work like uranium. So there are some rules of game for these Muladravya, as we used to call it, or elements. Who designed and defined it should be like this? Is the question. Because we say, wow, science, it works like this. Yeah, but shouldn't we ask who designed it? It's called as periodic law. It's not called as periodic chance. Means one fine day the gold decides to behave like uranium, and all the earrings and all the necklaces they become radioactive. How will that be? So it has to be a law. It will work like this. Law of physics. The projectiles, the missiles, the applied mechanics, it all goes by the law. And the law gets executed perfectly. Every time you take a stone from the top of the hill and drop it, all the rules of thermodynamics, physics will be implemented accurately how it is coming down. No failures. Every time, repeatable. On the contrary, the rules that human beings make, we need a lot of enforcement. Hey, please come on time. Like, how many of you are doing agile in your office? Agile Scrum meetings. So basically, we decide the rules of the game. How do we play together? And then what happens? Somebody breaking the rule. Then we have to say retrospective. Last time you didn't do this and I didn't do that. So there is so much of enforcement required. But in the nature, natural laws are automatically followed. Yes, everybody's together so far. We are going to ask your reflections at the end. So try to remember what you're talking. So all these rules are nicely followed in the scientific micro world also. Now we do education, right? To become what? Happy. Then we find jobs to become happy. And then we get married to become happy. Then we buy the car. Maybe sometimes we buy the car before. Become happy. Then we look for the house to become happy. Now we make all these choices, you agree? What do we not choose? Did we choose our parents? Did we choose how we look? Did we choose our intelligence? No. It's all given to us, yes? Then who is choosing my looks, my health, my parents, my intelligence, my height, everything? Who is choosing it? So somebody choosing it because so far we saw there is a method to the madness. Yes? So that means somebody choosing it. So let's wait on that. If they're not all random events, what are scriptures talking about it? The scriptures are talking about it is Karmena Daiva Netrena, Yasul, they both Sriya Pravishta Udram, Pumsa Reta Kshanakshaya. Srimad Bhagavatam 3:31. Under the supervision of Supreme Lord and according to results of one's work, the soul is awarded a new body. What it is saying is the first thing is under the supervision of the Lord. That means it is not random. Yes. According to the results of one work. That means whatever we have done in the past. Past could be this life or last life, because last time we saw this is not our first life. The soul, we saw what the soul is. Yes. Anybody remembers the definition of soul? Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Sat means forever. Yeah. Chit means aware. Sachin Ananda means always happy. Vigraha means has a shape. Right? So Sachit Ananda Vigraha, that soul is awarded a body. That means a soul is put into the body. And that's why that body feels like it is alive, awake, growing. What are scientists talking about it? This is where I want volunteers. Albert Einstein. Anybody wants to read? Just read it loud and clear. Okay, the Lord God is subtle, but malicious is not. Subtle means we can't see, touch, feel, but is there. That's a big one. Erwin Schrödinger. I'm very astonished that the scientific picture of the real world around me is very deficient. And this was what year that was? We have to see. It is like few decades back, right? So around me is very deficient. It gives a lot of factual information, puts all the experience in a magnificently considered order, but it is ghastly silent on all and sundry that is really near to our hearts, that really matters to us. It cannot tell us a word about red and blue, bitter and sweet, physical pain and physical delight. It knows nothing of beautiful and ugly, good and bad, God and eternity. Science sometimes pretends to answer questions in these domains, but the answers are very often so silly that we are not inclined to take them seriously. So scientists themselves are saying, what is science doing? Easy part is repeated, tough syllabus is omitted. Yes. What are the real things? How to be happy. What science is doing? We talk about a lot of other things other than how to become happy and healthy. If you think strongly enough, you will be forced by science to believe in God. Kelvin, do we know what he invented?
Invented something like a invented something like a countless which can like measure temperature.
Yes, yes. Very good. You have a big hand. What's your name again? Thank you. Thank you. So each one of the scientists have invented something real. That's why they are on my slides. Okay. The slides are not made by me. They are made by amazing IITians in Pune and Mumbai. Now, do you see this planetary motion model? And you little crankshaft, and they go out around in order. And there is the joke about friends of Newton would come and see him, look at the planetary model on his table, and ask the question, "Hey Newton, nice model. Like when we see a nice sari, what do we do? Hey, where did you get it from?" Guys don't do that, but ladies can confirm. If you see a nice sari, you'll ask, "Kahan se liya? How much?" How much? That guys asked. So Newton would say, "Oh, you want to know where I got this from? Yesterday evening in my lab, a small explosion happened. From that small explosion, this planetary model came off out of nowhere." Now, what is the naturally the friend is going to say? "Hey, you think I'm a fourth grader or something?" And even a fourth grader will say, "Do you think I'm a first grader or something?" Right? So everybody's questioning Newton's IQ that I will believe this story that a small explosion happened and the model came out of that. So after rubbing them hard for some time, then Newton said, if a small model cannot come out of the small explosion, how can a big model come out of a big explosion? So how would you believe that there is a big bang? So he would put that in a very uh, reverse cycle, I must say. So what is Newton saying? Again, what did Newton invent? Yeah, gravity. So, this most beautiful system of the sun, planets, and comets could only proceed from the counsel and dominion of an intelligent and powerful being. This being governs all things, not as the soul, but the world, as the Lord over all. And an account of this dominion, he is to be called Lord God, universal ruler. So, what is Newton saying? There is somebody behind all of this. So, if we say, "Oh, I'm a scientific person, I'm very scientist nature, and that's why I don't want to believe it. This is for village idiots back home, farmers, they don't know what they're doing. So they need a higher power to believe in. But I believe in myself, so I don't need God." Yes. The fact is, the scientists whose inventions have shaped our humanity, our civilization, our living standards today, are saying there is something higher out there, and we have to look at that. So I will not trouble all the scientists. Of course, Ramanujan, an equation for me has no meaning unless it represents a thought of God. And probably anybody has seen the movie Ramanujan. So he he had blessings from a goddess who would give him all the knowledge. So not only in the spiritual angle, but and then he's a mathematician. So all science also can help us connect with God, and God can help us connect with science. There's no conflict at a higher level. There is a higher power not influenced by our wishes, which finally decides and delivers. Again, I'm not saying every scientist is right in every line that they say, but what matters is they all agree that there is a higher power. So, commonsensically, we see It makes that there is somebody out there. We are scientists, they are saying there is somebody out there. Then the question is, who wants to be a millionaire? Oh, I can answer. What is the origin of the universe? Anybody still thinks it is Big Bang? B? Because even today, to bring the buildings down, we use those small explosives and articulately bring the building down. But I have not seen any construction company using bombs to build up a building. That doesn't happen. Explosion only destroys, it cannot create. It's like very, very logical. How scientific we have to be to believe that explosion cannot create things, right? What is the purpose of life? This everybody can answer. Please say, if you're A, raise your hand. B, make money and pass away. C, no purpose. D, to understand God and life. So D has few hands. That's awesome. Because we are human beings. The nice dog walking on the road cannot come to the class and cannot understand this topic. But humans can. So that is why it is important we spend life on this. So you've seen complicated machines, they don't come by chance. You see beautiful jewelry, that doesn't come by chance. Yes? So what it is said, according to the Big Bang theory, okay, everything began from a point of infinite temperature, infinite density, infinite size that is physically indescribable, mathematically unverifiable, and beyond all conceptions of time, space, and time. Does that sound like a experimental, predictable science here that every time you mix, say, oxygen and hydrogen, you can make water out of it, right? That is science. But this is not repeatable. It's not verifiable. It didn't happen in front of us. It may not happen again. And it is described by itself that according to Big Bang theory, everything began from a point of infinite temperature, which nobody knows what it is mean, infinite density, infinite size, that is physically indescribable, mathematically unverifiable, and beyond all conceptions of space and time. So only way to believe Big Bang theory is have faith. Yes. So ultimately, science is also demanding what? Faith. Now, does life start with faith in the first place? In the sense that, uh, raise your hand if you have a car, you're driving the car. Okay. So, question is, every day you wake up and you have faith that your car will start and it will work. That's why what you do, you take your key and put in the car and see key and switch it on. What if someday the car decides it will not work? Or you say, when I do my right turn, left turn, it is going to follow that. What if there's an unpredictability to that? What if one fine day we have so much faith in gravity that this earth is spinning so hard, it is rolling through the universe so hard, and still we are sitting over here nicely without a seat belt. So we have so much confidence that gravity is always there to hold us. What if gravity stops working? Right? We're floating. And then we go out into space. What if? So this what if is we have faith like a baby. Saying like, no, no, no. Things are okay. It will not go anywhere. So what is Encyclopedia Britannica saying? It should be emphasized that no theory of origin of solar system has yet to won a general acceptance. All involve highly improbable assumptions. Encyclopedia Britannica. So again, Encyclopedia is saying this is not serious. Big Bang theory is not serious. But today, if you ask in schools and colleges, it is taught like it is science. Isn't it true? It is like, yeah, Big Bang, yeah, that is how we came from. We came from monkeys. Now, a child goes to mommy and says, hey, mommy, mommy, Did we come from monkeys? And the mommy says, who told you? Not only in the school they're teaching, but my dad is also saying this. That we came from monkeys. So the mommy says, oh child, your dad is right. Their side came from monkeys. Our side came from God. It's okay. Be peaceful. Your dad is right. I am also right. So if somebody says, I don't believe in God, we came from monkeys, please don't fight. Yes, sir, we admit you came from monkeys. We came from God. Let's be in peace with the idea that we came from monkeys. We don't have to fight it. Yes? You like the idea? Yes. Yeah. So now governments and government. National government has so many departments. Yes? Like government of Homeland Security, right? So many departments that they have. But universal governments are also there. So there is a layer above that, that is universal government. You get diseases which are incurable and things like that. Why? The mother nature is saying, I'll take care of you because you are misbehaving. And the science is not able to help for most part. Then there is Ayurvedic herbs to recover from general ailments. And there is an energy supply, sun and moon. So there is a ministry of energy for us, but there is a ministry of energy for nature and God also. And then gold and silver, and I heard the gold and silver prices drop. Nobody might be investing there, but there's a 30% drop. Yeah, I know. So life is so unpredictable. So after all the scientific progress we made in life, ultimately we are going back to the gold. It's like, is this human progress that you go back to a metal found in the earth as the definition of your success, financial success? And we are getting big, big forts to store that as a nation and as a whole humanity. End of the day, the ladies in India were always right for thousands of years. Buy the gold, keep the gold. Buy the gold, keep the gold. Because gold is king, right? All your Bitcoin, everything is today it is there. God knows where it will tomorrow. We don't realize the power of time. Because in due time, how many currencies we have seen? Unlimited numbers. The only constant part is gold. Gold was there in the past, gold is now, gold will be there in future. The higher locus that we describe, gold is relevant. Other metals or other currencies are not. What is O3 doing? Defense. It is defending us from the harmful rays of the sun, the Earth's atmosphere. And then there are books. So Ministry of Education is also Ministry of Books that we have. So you see, there is a parallel between what humans are doing and what Mother Nature is doing also. There is a higher way of. So behind every government, there is a home minister or prime minister, president, right? Like that, the whole universe is also, there is a person behind it. And some people who follow the rules, they enjoy. Some people who do not follow the rules properly, they suffer. Human society also drives the same thing. Universal government also tries the same thing. Now, matta paratnam net kinchit asti dhananjaya met sarvam idam proktam sutre mani ganaiva. What is it? O Arjuna, everything rests upon me as pearls are strung on a necklace. So if you buy a pearls necklace, the quality of the necklace is seen by the first thing is, can you see the thread or not? If you can see the thread, it's not a very high quality. The thread should not be seen. You should see only pearls. So you can see the pearls, you cannot see the thread, but you always know one thing. What is holding the pearls together? So all these unrelated things which are happening in life, there has to be a thread behind it. And what are our books saying for that? Bhagavad Gita 7.7. Oh Arjuna, everything rests upon me as pearls are strung in a necklace. So why that example is given? Because in the gold necklace, possibly you may see the thread, but in pearl necklace, always it is tight. Right? We are coming to the summary side of it. You saw the artist means artist, and organization means organizer. Creation means creator. Design means designer. Energy means energetic. Flawless laws means lawmaker. Who created the universe? What is the purpose? These are solid questions, right? National government versus universal government. All right, that brings us to the end of today's syllabus. I can take questions for you from today's session as well as the last session also. All right. Questions on today? No questions. They're straight ready for the bench. If no questions, let's talk about the reflections. What did you learn from today? Yeah. Where do we start? You want to start? Okay.
Why not?
So again, give your first name and then continue.
Yeah, my first name is Rakesh.
Mm-hmm.
And today we started with the question about does God exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have not seen it, but we looked into the examples of this universe
Mhm.
in different form to figure out somebody behind that existence, behind the rule, and that somebody might be the God. That can be a conclusion. That's what we discussed with the different examples.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you. Yes, sir. Your first name?
Yeah, my name is Aditya. So what we have seen today is like how we have created rules like among humans itself. So that tells us like most of the thoughts and most of our behavior comes from the rules that we have defined. And if we have rules for like maybe organizations like our government, everything, there also might be a probability where there's like a higher rule, like how you have said, like the universe has like its own rules. So that's one part that I actually liked. And like the person behind that rules can probably be God. We'll see in future session like how we go to it.
Very nice. Thank you. Yes, sir. Vital.
My name is Vittal, and I I got to learn the examples through which we are justifying the presence of God. My only sort of, I guess, question would be if this is what we should use as an argument to explain to someone who's an atheist and doesn't believe in God, and if this is convincing enough. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I knew most of these examples beforehand, and it was nice to reinforce those concepts to learn about the existence of them.
Very nice. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Soyal, and I learned today that behind every creation, behind every man made creation, we understand that there is somebody behind it who created it, who designed it. Similarly, it goes with the universe and with our lives also, that behind our existence, behind our galaxy, our solar system, there is somebody who's created it. So, yeah, there is some positive energy, you could say maybe a person. There is something which is called as God.
Yeah, thank you.
I
Yes, sir.
am Viraj, and the main thing I learned today was how and why existence is not what we have been taught, but the purpose, like as the slides were showing that the Big Bang is essentially a explosion and not something that you are building, just like the building example that you gave. So that sparked quite a bit of arguments or like concepts that I had, and correlates and validates it. So definitely there is God that I believe in, and yeah, as everyone other than me mentioned about the other concepts. So yeah, that's my piece.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi, my name is Teja. And so from today's session, I think we began with trying to answer the question of does God exist? And we went through the examples of us as humans and scientists' observations into the nature, like in nature, like everything that has been created, there is like creator for it. And we have also tried to understand like if the current scientific theories can explain how the origin of the universe came about. And since it is not, it is built on a level of faith that is present. So yeah, that concept was interesting. So yeah, I think at the end, the main thing is that similar to the laws that we have as humans, there is a higher power and there are higher laws. And we are going to be judged on our actions similar to how we are judged here.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Manasa, and today I learned that basically the science kind of explains like what is already created in the universe, and similarly like how humans have formed the rules and laws of the society. There is also a sort of like a power like the God who has created rules and laws of the like governing of the universe and everything. So.
Thank you.
Nikhil. So I think something similar to what everyone said, like there's God behind everything. Even like, there are certain examples where we cannot answer what is the cause behind that or how was this created. So there's definitely God over there. And of course, there are certain things that we as humans also come up with and live by those rules in life. So yeah, I think that was something that I learned today.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'll go on the first row because I can hear the desire to speak. Shaurya,
Yeah.
what do you think?
My name is Shaurya, and my sort of takeaway of this class is that if you look at the universe and the design and the precision with which so many facets of the universe is created, it's sort of only logical to assume that there is a creator to it. And also by looking at the scientific perspective of many of like the greatest scientific minds, that it only makes sense to assume that there has to be a creator, and sort of looking at that as perspective of God as well. And the answer, if there is a creator, that creator must be intelligent. And that's sort of what I took away.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, my name is Pranav. Um, in today's class, one thing I took away is when we were talking about the Big Bang, and Prabhu was talking about how there's like they make such illogical assumptions, and that in itself is basically having faith. And I quote him. He said, "To believe in science is to have faith." That really stuck with me. I do believe that there is a creator, and um, that one line has so much. Like if you go in depth into that one line, there's so much meaning behind it. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, hey, I'm Aditya. So through today's presentation, I think we're trying to establish that, for every cause there's a causality behind it, and so some higher minds, since they believe in God, we should also believe in Him. I think, I mean, if there would be some kind of proof or something which we can do on our own to verify his existence, that would be great.
Give him a big hand, please. You're saying, what can I do to get my direct experience of God? Yes. Awesome. That's the spirit.
Hi, this is Krishna. From today's session, I think the most important takeaway I got was life is too intricate and complex to have been occurred by chance. So there is probably a creator, some higher power behind it. I would not call it God just yet, but some higher power or some higher laws that govern it. But like Pranav just said, one line stuck with me that even science demands faith. So that got me thinking maybe faith is the first step there. But yeah, I still need to know a little bit more about how things are.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Neha. Today we started Does God Exist? So as for me, like we have gone through so many examples, learned like there is some energy, there is some artist behind it. But at the end of the day, what I take away is faith. There is a faith that if you believe that the God exists, because there is a lot of creations, there is a lot of things where science sometimes leave it on the faith that you have to believe. This is how we say, okay, this is my scientific theory, but at the end of the day, there is a faith. There is infinite power which cannot be described. So I also feel that there is a faith that might be God exists. So I would say this is early for me to say that God exists. Yeah, I'm looking for the another sessions.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Or you can look for direct experience. Yes. Thank you. So we'll take the backbenchers. No, all benches are good. Okay. Yes, sir. You're good?
Got wisdom tooth extracted.
Okay. Okay. That's why I saw the special. You can talk on her behalf as well.
So my key takeaway is like there is an infinite force, infinite energy which has created nature.
Mhm.
And as our human beings, they are getting those or they are using those to build something for their own satisfaction.
Mhm.
And everything is already created. All the scientists, they are not inventing it, they are discovering it.
Yes.
So it is, though we have given the word invention, but it is a discovery. And all those things are already invented for us to use it from. That is pretty much.
Very nice. Thank you.
My name is Sandy, and what I learned today is that so my name is Sandy. What I learned today is that every single object has been made by a scientist or like a person who made it. Like so, like the way that like the pearls are being held by the dead, like that. So
Yeah. Pearls is a nice example. Thank you,
yeah,
Sandy.
so that's it.
Thank you, Sandy. Yes, ma'am.
Uh, I like the idea of the universal law, like a zoomed out view of things that are beyond us and things beyond our understanding. I'm also someone who takes some time to think about it and wonder about these.
Thank you.
And my name is Kavini, and my reflection is that this aligns with what I started the class with, that everything is by divine force. All these three things, it reinforces that there is a bigger force. I choose to call it God, so on and so forth. And that invisible thread is what is keeping everything together. We don't know yet, but that's the work behind all of this. And my key takeaway is to find, I know that that force, that divine force is there. What my purpose is towards that force, I need to. So that's my.
Thank you. Yes, sir. You want to say something?
I mean, I'm supposed to. So I think I definitely think that is powerful that that's running the entire universe. I do believe. I think there is one session that talks about what is God, like Bhagavan, and it gives the definition of Bhagavan. We call it as who has all the opulence and power, or there is all the scientific science that's beyond. But I do believe there is something beyond that. I do pray for God, the force or energy. So that's all. I personally think.
Thank you. So, Kaustu Prabhu, Chandra Prabhu, you want to say something?
Already. I love the way that we first started with that God exists,
Huh.
and we went through a systematic way, a procedural way of establishing that God exists and what is the proof to say that God exists. So we went in a very scientific way, which is appealing to everyone, and it's easy for people to comprehend the concept of God existing it, and there is tangible proof.
Okay, very nice. Kaustu Prabhu.
Sure. It's a good session and thanks everyone for participating. So it's a very, very important topic in terms of like, does God exist? We say yes, but if you ask yourself, really? And then if you go asking the deep questions again, why? So you will get the answers. And the very first people who says do not believe in the God, the scientists, they themselves believe the God. So that they don't share because they want to just prove the theory. They have the ego there, right? So if you uncover the ego, ultimately what you see is So it's a very good session. Thank you so much.
Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. All right. So with that class, we have earned an amazing feast, guys. Let's give a big hand to all the people who have worked hard in organizing the class, cooking the prasadam, transporting everything over here. Those who designed the slides, the beautiful slides that we see, people who the room booking to make sure we can be here, people who are working behind the scenes, people who are praying for us that we don't just are born like some other human beings and never get in touch with the divine scriptures. With that, again, thank you so much. We'll see you in the next class. Hare Krishna.